the recording. So the brother might have just stepped away for a bit. Let me try messaging him.
Okay, it's all good.
Yeah, so okay, cool. So Mohsin, you can begin there. Okay. So assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Peace and blessings to everybody that's listening. You know, we got obviously Muslims in the gathering, but maybe also non-Muslims. So like we said in the Eventbrite, this isn't really a religious discussion. We're not focusing, you know, our focus right now isn't the deen, isn't Islam, but we're focusing on, of course, our guest speaker, his life. And like I just said before the recording was on, we don't try to glorify the street life. We don't try to glorify anything from addictions, etc. We just try to bring you people that's lived through certain things, like Brother Rafiq, you know, and now that's pushing a more positive life, and they want to save you from wasting those decades of your life, you know. This is a brother that, and I want to start off by saying that I was just thinking about how, you know, even with you, Rafiq, like I was thinking how, you know, with the internet nowadays and technology, there's so much bad that's coming with it. You know, it's leading the youth astray. There's a lot of bad with the stuff we're seeing, the fitna on the internet. But at the same time, I thank Allah that through this internet, through this technology, look how we connect with other people. If it wasn't for the internet, we wouldn't even be connected. So, so you know, so it's crazy how last Ramadan we got things cracking with Muslim Youth Revival. Before that, it was mostly me and a few friends I was talking to since September 2019. Things didn't start cracking until last Ramadan. Alhamdulillah, you know, we got our exec team going, all 9 of us. And, you know, 1 or 2 joined afterwards. But I thank Allah for all the members that's in the organization. Like, I pray for them, you know, because it's like these people is doing so much, whether it's from recording the events to editing the events, taking care of the emails, you know. And these brothers and sisters been working hard to you know, even for you just doing the promos and even getting out there. But at the same time, I want to thank you, because it's like you taking your time out, and it really shows that his brother cares about all you youth that's in the call, because he's taking an hour of it of his family time at a time he could have been making bread, and he's here to talk to you guys. So inshallah, without further ado, I'll be basically navigating the conversation off, but you got the mic. Right. So so I'm gonna start off by just asking you if you can give a background of yourself, you know, whether, you know, your age, name, whatever background. You can go ahead.
Well, I'll first start off by, you know, giving the greetings. Assalamu alaikum to my Muslim brothers and sisters. My name is Abdul Rafiq. I'm Hispanic. I'm from Puerto Rico. I'm 49 years of age. I accepted Shahada when I was 16. However, you know, due to my disobedience, you know, I had a rough life, you know, full of full of ups and downs, you know, and once again, it all goes back to my disobedience to Allah Ta'ala, because I had the blueprint, you know, and I've deemed, you know, on the street successfully. I was, you know, I got married at an early age. I was a, you know, and you know, and how can I say? I always attended the mosque 5 times a day. I would go for Jummah, so I know I had the blueprint. But like I said, you know, due to my disobedience, I had a long life of ups and downs. Penitentiary. I was in prison. I had a life in addiction. Had mental health issues. However, I'm gonna go back to the blueprint. The blueprint is what has me today facing my brothers and sisters with a smile on my face.
You know? Not to cut you off, big bro, but I just wanted to just chime in there. So you were saying, so a lot of the times we have these speakers that talk to the youth, their stories are a little different. So they went through street life, whatever, and then they found the deen. So it's interesting, like you noted that you had so maybe go into when you accept Islam. So basically, just for all the listeners, I wanted to clarify that the brother was on the deen, alhamdulillah. So it's like sometimes we don't relate to these speakers because we're like, oh, we already Muslim. They found Islam when they was like 40, 50, 60. But this brother, like he just told you, he already had the blueprint. So do you want to talk about when you found out about Islam and what maybe you were doing before that?
Okay. Before that, I would go, you know, when I was 11, 12, 10, 11, 12, I was searching, you know, I was searching for something, you know, to make me happy, you know, and I went to church and things like that, and I tried, to participate and I tried to give it my all. And this is not a shot to any religions outside of Islam. I'm just keeping it honest. It did nothing for me. At 13, I don't know if you aware with the Nation of Gods and Earths. It's a 5% nation. It's a little branch off of the NOI. It's like a break off of the NOI. It's an innovation. It's bid'ah. However, this was before I accepted Shahada. This is what I myself, along with a lot of people from the ghetto, from the urban youth, thought that Islam was, because this was back in 86, 85, 87. This was what we thought Islam was. However, my uncle, like I said, 13, I was, dealing with that. 14, 15, 16. Me and my uncle sat down and we were speaking about Islam. And I told him, yo, I found, Islam, and my name is this and this is what it's about. And my uncle was like, nah, this is not Islam. He took me to the masjid. We sat down on the musalla, and when I joined the brothers, it was brothers from everywhere. They were, white brothers, Chinese brothers, African brothers, Spanish brothers, and I never seen nothing like that. So I was curious as to, what is it that has these people sitting down, and although they're, from different nationalities and different backgrounds, they sitting there conversating like they known each other all their life. And I sat down, and the more that the more insight they gave me as in regards to the deen, the more that I wanted it, and I accepted Islam there at 16 years old in Atlantic City, New Jersey.
Mashallah, that's big. And so basically, like brother mentioned, he was part of so a lot of this we already discussed in our live. I know some of you've seen it, but for the people that didn't check that out, brother was talking about how he's part of the 5% nation, and just like many other branches that people have created when it comes to Islam, when he was young out there. And so just to clarify, brother from Jersey, Trenton, Jersey, that's where you were coming up in
Trenton, New Jersey. Yeah.
So that was the thing to do at that time, and we notice a lot of that today as youth, at least here in Toronto and wherever else I see it amongst my people, is like talking about self-empowerment to the point where everybody's saying they gods,
right.
Everybody's saying that spirituality, we all gods, we don't need religion. So the brother Rafiq was into something similar coming up. So, bro, I guess maybe, I don't know if you mentioned it already. I'm kind of like, I'm focusing on a bunch of things, but did you talk about your parents? So like how?
Yeah, that's what I really wanted. I wanted, when you
sure.
told me to introduce myself, I had wanted to start from the beginning. I come from, for those who don't know, the brother knows, what I'm saying? But for those who don't know, I come from two deaf parents. My parents were born deaf when they were born. And when they had us, they were, my mother was 16, my father was 19, and they were kids, having kids and still trying to find a way themselves in this world. If for two deaf parents trying to raise kids and they had a difficult upbringing, it would in turn have issues with us growing up. You know what I'm saying? Later on, my father would be abusive. His father was abusive. So him in turn would be abusive, but not right away. Later on, when I was born, my father was the most loving father, you know what I'm saying? But then he got involved in drugs. And then that's when the monster came out, and, he would physically abuse me and my brother. So much so that my mother had to relocate. And this is how we got to Trenton. You know what I'm saying? We came from Newark, New Jersey. My father was in Newark, but because of the abuse, my mom, like I said, my mother had to relocate. We came to Trenton, New Jersey. And like I said, I would take on the role later on. I would take on the role as, as the male, father figure in the house, as the provider and things like that. This is how I got introduced to selling drugs. You know what I mean? And then later on, I would go from selling drugs to being one of my biggest customers. I would become a customer. And like I said,
Right.
that
Okay. So basically, just to kind of go deeper into that story. So what you said, you moved, right? What basically intrigued you to get involved with the streets? Like, what kind of led you, rather than, maybe some people were jumping to jobs, whatever. What kind of inspired you to be involved with the streets, though? Like, what kind of
environment,
things?
environment, you know, not having, role models, not having no father figure, no male, you know, the men that did come in and out of our house would just use my mother, use her for whatever they could, and then they would just be off, and us getting, not even, at the time we was getting the bare minimum,
Right.
but it was just the bare minimum. But when you look at, as I look back now, the bare minimum was suffice. You know what I'm saying? It really was suffice, but I didn't think it was bare minimum. Like, I wanted my mother to have a car. I wanted my sister to be able to change clothes whenever she wanted to. I wanted to, my brother to have stuff, things that he wanted and things like that. And this is how I got introduced, to the streets.
Right. And what you're saying is crazy because, talking to people that's come up selling drugs, it's always about the money, it's always about providing your family with more. And that's what people don't see. And a lot of people that might be attending the call, if you didn't grow up with nobody, with friends that were involved with dealing drugs, like, you might find it you might not know why. Maybe you think people want to do it because it's cool. But I'm showing you, like, people who get in that stuff just to do it or just for fun, they don't last long. Because as soon as maybe they get robbed the first time, or maybe the first time they get in some big legal trouble, they just get scared and they back up. But people that's really in it for the money and they're going through a hard time, unfortunately, they just keep pursuing that. And I'm sure with you, brother, like, maybe that's what you went through. So early on when you started, like you were saying, how old were you approximately when you started, like, I guess started dealing?
I started dealing, I was like 13, 14 years old. Huh?
Damn,
Yeah, I was like
crazy.
13, 14.
Damn.
Yeah.
Okay, and so when you started dealing, did you come across, like, was it more overall, was it smooth for you? Did you encounter some, like, did you encounter some scary things while you were dealing in the streets, or was it overall pretty smooth?
No, 2012, I almost lost my life to gun violence. I got shot in Camden, New Jersey.
Right.
And, you know, they say it was a mistaken identity, but I
Right.
don't I don't believe it's mistaken identity. We know in Islam, what's meant to happen to you was meant to happen to you. You know what
Hmm.
I'm saying? So that
So 2012 is quite, I mean, that's way more recent. But I mean, when you were young and you were coming up and you were selling in the streets, did you encounter ever getting robbed, or was there some scary things going on, or what was that?
absolutely there was some scary things going on. We would have shootouts, you know what I'm saying? People would from other, streets and neighborhoods would try to come and take the block. So we would have to be armed. We would have abandoned cars with guns and bats and knives, and
Mm.
yeah, it
And
was
these are the type of things that when we see movies and we see music videos and rappers talking about pushing and making that money, this is the stuff we don't see behind the curtains. We
right.
don't see when someone's bragging about making thousands a week from selling small amounts of coke or whatever else have you. We don't see the stuff that they're going through. We don't see the fact that when they come home to their family, they got their sister in the crib, they got their moms inside. They gotta watch their back. And I'm sure when you were young, you always felt like maybe there's a threat. And the crazy thing is not just you got to watch out for people in the streets, but it's also the police. So you got to watch out for the law coming for you, as well as as well as enemies.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so fast forward into, you said you basically started using product. When, like, roughly when did that happen? When did that come about?
I wait till like 10 years later. I wait till like I'm 23 years old, to experiment. And it was the worst, probably could have, I know, yeah, definitely one of the worst decisions I ever made, man. You know?
Right. So can you shed some light on that? Like, what made you? So can you specify what you were using and how you got
I
into
was snorting heroin. I went from
it?
smoking. I went from smoking marijuana, and what happened was one night I didn't have no weed, so I was with. I used to call him my man, my friend, but your friend don't do that to you. So it was just somebody I knew.
100%.
You know what I mean? He brought it up like, why don't you, you know, take a sniff of this, and I'm like, no, back and forth. And then I was like, you know what? Let me see what these people, let me see what the big hype is about. And that one snort would turn into, man, I'm 49 now. I just stopped 45. At
SubhanAllah.
5 years old, brother.
That's deep, man. That's crazy. That's how it is growing up. For most of us here in Brampton, Toronto, etc. Everybody starts out with weed, and then you got people in high school when you're growing up. I'm sure there's some brothers here that just left high school, maybe in your last year. And people around you will always tell you that, oh, it's not a gateway. You're gonna smoke weed, you'll be good. And then when you turn 16, 17, you never try nothing else. You just keep strong with the marijuana because you think I'm never gonna touch nothing else. But like Rafiq, you just said, like you was like 23, so you decided one night. It just one decision led you to an addiction.
Not to cut you off. I said I would never, for years. You know what I'm saying? I used to walk through alleyways and see people shooting up in their neck. You know what I'm saying? I seen men shooting up in their toes. I seen people shooting up in their private parts. You know what I'm saying? It was my father. You know what I'm saying? So I told myself I would never do no hard drug because I seen firsthand what it did to my father and how it ripped my family apart. And then I seen from neighborhoods and stuff like that how it destroyed families apart. Just like I said, I would never put my hands on a woman because my father would beat my mother growing up. And then I found myself doing it, putting my hands on women. You know what I'm saying? Not just coming in the house, just smacking nobody. It would be on a defense tip. However, when a female hits you, you're not supposed to hit them back, bro. Because we men, we 10 times, you know what I'm saying? They females. Had I learned, what I know now, you know what I'm saying? I'm a different person today than I was. I hated myself, bro. I didn't like myself. Today I can look in the mirror and say, alhamdulillah, like I like what I look at.
And that's the biggest thing, bro. That's the biggest thing here in your story, like just being proud where you came from and where you're at now. I pray that Allah keep you on the right path. I'll keep you righteous. So going back to the addiction, right? I was gonna say, like what you just shared there's like it all made me emotional because I know too many people that's caught up in addictions, but unfortunately, like I won't even name them because for the sake of whatever else. But I have close family members that I've lost already to addiction, not in the immediate, but so it's like seeing people go down and down and down, and then the addiction finally kills them and takes them out. It's so sad knowing that they could have achieved so much more, not even just in the dunya, but for their akhirah. You get what I mean? And it's like, so anyways, going to your story. So you talking about how you tried it that one night. So how was the experience from that day on? Did you tell yourself, okay, I'm not going to touch it again now? But how was that?
That's how it is. That's how it is. When you first, because of what it was, and it's insane, bro. It's really insane because I threw up all night. You know what I'm saying? Like that thing had me throwing up. Anybody else in their right mind would be like, I'm not going back to that. You know what I'm saying? But I would end up trying it again, and then little by little, it turned into just a weekend thing, to every other day, to just at nighttime, to just 1 hour a day, to it just consumes your whole life, man. Until you wake up chasing it, you go to sleep with it on your mind, and you wake up with it the first thing on your mind.
Damn. Yeah. And so while you were using this, did your like family or friends see any like changes, or was it just like you kept it low key? Like how was that? How was your journey?
Try to keep it like everybody else. We all try to keep it low key. You know what I'm saying? Until it gets unmanageable, man.
Right.
It gets unmanageable, and then you get sloppy. You know what I'm saying? You stop caring about your appearance and things like that, and then you stop caring about how other people feel or what other people think. Because at first we're ashamed, we're embarrassed a little bit. You know what I'm saying? We don't want nobody. Oh, he sniffing dope. Oh my God. But then it's like after a while, it's like, oh well. You know what I'm saying? You love me or you don't.
Yeah. I said we were going to do questions in the end, but a sister had a question that was more relevant for what you're saying right now. So she said, how had your family dynamic changed when you started consuming drugs? Did it impact your family life at all, or was it Is that something that didn't change?
Oh, what? When I was getting high, did it have an impact on my family?
Yeah.
Absolutely, sister. Absolutely, it did. Absolutely.
Can you
Yo,
shed light on how, like, I
of
guess you were
course.
married at
I
the time,
mean,
right?
as a father, I was as a father, I wasn't a man. I was a punk. You know what I'm saying? Because of that, because of them drugs. Because my kids would be searching, reaching out for me, and when I'm high, when I'm straight, I want to talk to them. But when I'm high, I didn't, I didn't, I wouldn't, I'd be ashamed. I don't want to, you know what I'm saying? I didn't want to face them. Now you looking at a person that's high 24 hours a day. So what does that tell you? I got very little contact with my children, right? So now, even to this day, just because I've been clean, going on 4 years, and I haven't seen a jail cell over 4 years, and a lot of things, like, a lot of things has changed for me. Like, life is great, you know what I'm saying? However, people still feel some type of way.
Of
They
course.
really do.
Of course. Yeah, a lot of the decisions we make, yeah, sorry, not to cut you. A lot of the decisions we make growing up, they're going to be permanent. You know, there's a lot of things that you think you might do in your youth that's going to be, be put under the rug, but it's really not. And that's the scary part about it. Even like you said, brother, like a lot of people on this call even might feel like maybe they're using weed or whatever else, but they feel like, oh, we never going to do that and stuff. If this was 10 years ago, I got some people on my own, my peers, and them that they would have said the same thing. Oh, I remember back in the day, you used to, oh, we would never snore. That stuff is for, the
Yeah,
same cats. The same cats 10 years later, can't say that no more.
I'm telling you,
Can't say that
dog.
no more.
I'm telling you, bro.
So anyways, you know what? This discussion, like, is so deep how you went into it, but I feel like I told you, brother, before, like, for intoxicants and drugs or whatever else, we might just do a whole other event on its own.
Right.
Just because there's so much to talk about, and especially with the youth today, how me and you chopped it up in the live, we talked about how rappers today is promoting perks, Molly, what else, whatever else we mentioned,
Every
Xannies.
rapper song, they talking about perks and mollies, and
Yeah.
it's
No, that's what we were talking about because I mean, just 10 years ago, you think about 10 years ago when MDMA hit the streets, at least over here. Now it's different between us and y'all over there, but when this stuff hit the streets over here, everybody was doing it, but it was low key. I can remember 2010, 2011. People over here was doing MDMA, but it wasn't in the industry. Then come 2012, 2013, you start hearing Molly, Molly, Molly. I'm like, what's this Molly stuff? And then you start hearing like people at clubs. It's the main thing to do. Everybody on Molly, and then I don't know when it happened when perks and all these pills became popular. Because I remember growing up thinking that stuff was bummy, and I'm only 26.
right.
Not even to put my age out there, but I'm only 26. Like, so I don't understand like how rappers or in the music industry, sorry, successfully made that popular. We made these drugs.
We made it cool. They made it
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
They made it cool to be a junkie.
Right. It's all
Sorry,
good. It's
bro.
all good, man. It's all good. But it's crazy because these youth, like, it's wild. Like the stuff that they be bragging about doing this stuff, and then you can see they can't even have a conversation. Forget the youth, the rappers themselves.
Right.
The fact that you guys are imitating people that can't speak two sentences without sounding like their voices all be like, I don't understand where we went wrong, man. Especially as a Muslim community, we, like you said, Ak, like we had the blueprint. So how did we get misled by these people, man? It don't make no sense. And unfortunately, over here in the GTA, in Toronto, wherever else, people that's in the streets, people that's distributing the drugs, whatever else, I see a lot of these that's brothers or that sister, that's people that's in the fold of Islam.
Yeah.
And we distributing this stuff, that don't make no sense, man. Like you said in our live, like we supposed to be I don't know if you said Khalifas or like leaders.
Khalifas, be the Khalifas, bro.
Yeah. So anyways, just moving on, from that drug. So like I said to everybody listening, we might do a whole other event with Brother Rafiq. He has so much to share with us, as youth, when it comes to heroin or whatever else. So moving forward, we had the main topic on our poster was incarceration. That was our main topic, right? Unfortunately, I don't know about the listeners, but me myself, I know a few people that's either incarcerated or maybe they're out now. Right after high school, they went to the bin. And you hear different things. I talk to certain youth about avoiding that at all costs, but sometimes people will laugh about it and say, my cousin went in there, or my uncle went in there. There was good. There was running thing in there. So people don't even want to take it seriously no more. You yourself, what can you talk about the first time you went to the bin, where you went, what facility, and how was your first experience going to prison?
Let me put it to you this way. I wish, we can't say wish, right? But had 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 my last experience been my first experience, I don't think I would have went back. But Allahu Alam, Allah knows best. You know what I'm saying? It's unfortunate that a lot of us, when we do step into these facilities, it's like going to school, bro. It's like going to, it's like going to somewhere where you haven't seen people that you haven't seen for a long time, friends and things like that. It's
So
that's
where
why
did
everybody's
where did you
everybody's
first?
everybody's experience is different.
Right.
My first experience was in Jersey. I wish my first experience would have been Rikers Island. You know what I'm saying? I would have hit Rikers Island later on. You know what I'm saying? By the time I hit Rikers Island, I'm already a vet. I already know how to jail. You know what I'm saying? Had I went there my first time, I'd have been a little bit, timid and fearful because of the things we hear about. But I already was in jail. But for the most part, for people that's first coming in, you getting bullied. You got predators. They come in all shapes, forms, sizes, and colors. They come in the form as your brother, and they're a predator. You know what I'm saying? It's not. It's inhumane. It's not no place. It's inhumane, brother. It's inhumane.
Right, 100%. And one thing you shed light on, even right now, but also on your YouTube channel, which, by the way, guys, check out Brother Rafiq YouTube channel. It's the same name as the event, Moving Forward with Rafiq. So you were talking about a story one time in your video where you were mentioning that's people that's even in the Muslim community in these facilities. You can't even trust 100% of them, and it's crazy because me myself, even growing up, you always hear Muslims are strong in jail, Muslims are strong. So the innocent mind always thinks, okay, if I ever do, God forbid, go to the
Right.
bin, my bros, all the brothers will hold me down, never gonna be no problems. But you were even talking about how you can't trust nobody behind bars, man. You can't.
I mean, for the most part, the brothers, we got it. The brothers, they got it. You know what I'm saying? Because of the discipline. You know what I'm saying? And they put that for years they've been putting the work in, man. The brothers and the wardens and you know what you
COs?
the COs, the COs and all of them, they look for them. They look for the Muslims to solve problems and things like that. You know what I'm
Okay,
saying?
okay. At least you mean in Jersey, like wherever
In
you was at.
Jersey, yeah, because New York was a different experience for me.
Mm,
That was a whole different experience for me. They was in a lot of Muslims over there was in cahoots with the Bloods. They was in
mm,
cahoots with different gangs.
mm.
It was terrible, man. It was New York was a terrible experience, man.
Right. Okay, so before we move on to New York and Rikers, so you said so which facility was that first one that you was at though? Like what was the
I was
name of
on
that?
Rikers Island. The first place that I pulled up in was Rikers Island, and then I went to Attica.
Okay.
I went to Auburn.
Okay. No, but I mean when you were a youth, like the first one, you said your first experience was some other facility, no? Apart
My
from
first experience was in Jersey.
in Jersey. Okay. So which facility was that though?
Oh, it was Bordentown.
Georgetown. Okay, okay. So being a youth, when you first went in there, what was like? Could you remember maybe one of the first scariest things you saw back there? Like, what did you?
First time I went in there, right? I go in. Intake is the fourth floor. When you first go in, intake is 4 South, and the workers, everybody that's workers throughout the jail that's an inmate is on 4 North. Upstairs, 6 North is where all the killers, rapers, big time charges. 6 South is where drug dealers and stuff like that, minor charges and stuff like that. When I first came in, I was 18. I came in 4 South. I didn't know anybody. when I first came in. My stomach, I had butterflies and all that. And then eventually people started coming in that I knew. And then people was coming from down. Every time somebody would, all right, you wouldn't intake, you just come in for a day or two, and then after a day or two, sorry, brothers and sisters, after a day or two, they would send you upstairs.
Right.
Right? Mind you, the people that was going upstairs, damn, how can I explain it, man, so y'all can understand? At nighttime, they call pack-ups, right, to go upstairs. Every time, say 5 people go upstairs, 2 people would come back downstairs lumped up with black eyes, teeth knocked out, and stuff like that. And this was some of the stuff that I was witnessing for the first couple of days. And me knowing that my turn would come up to where I would have to go upstairs. So that was kind of scary.
So did you end up going upstairs?
I ended up going upstairs, but when I went upstairs, it was like a reunion, man. I seen people from the block.
You kill me, I didn't mean to laugh, but
different, man. It turned out
and we not glorifying nothing, but you blessed that you knew people out there, and a lot of the times you talk to different bro, like a lot of people that go in down on nobody though. So it's like it's a different thing for them, the
it was like that for me. It was like that for me in New York on Rikers Island. I didn't know anybody.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I didn't know anybody. But like I said, by the time I got to Rikers Island, I was already a seasoned vet. I already knew how to jail and how to stay to myself, and to stay away from gambling. Not to borrow things from anybody and stuff like that, to stay away from the gangs.
That's the type of stuff that youth don't think about. There is no manual on how to avoid prison. We don't learn that in no high school. So when a lot of people go into the bin, even here, I have accounts of friends that went to the lockup in our city, and you don't know these things. So there's somebody telling me there's some rules on the wall. You got to knock on the bench. If you don't do that, one of my close friends went in there, didn't do whatever was written on the wall, got jumped right away. So there's a lot of weird rules that come with every facility. You don't know.
One of the weirdest rules I heard, I had when I was on Rikers Island, right? They sent me to they sent me to the Beacon. I go to the Beacon, so I don't know nobody, right? I come in there, I'm chilling. So all day, you know what I'm saying? I go in the morning, lock in. You don't gotta lock in till 10:30. It's about 7 o'clock. I'm watching TV. The Bloods are going around and they tapping guys on their shoulder and they're telling them to lock in. It's like 7 o'clock. There's not COs that's telling them to lock in. There's inmates. These guys are inmates. But because they blood, they going around tapping dudes on the shoulder and telling them to lock in. That was the first thing. Mind you, they didn't come on, bro. I told them, I'm not going to let no man tell me to lock in, bro. That's the thought, the ignorance. I would rather die before I let a man, tell me to lock in. But that was the past, man. The second day, they giving out chicken, right? The Bloods, they passing out the food. Now you get a piece of chicken, you get what? You get like the thigh and the leg, right? They would take the thigh and give you the leg.
It's crazy, bro.
That's what I was saying, bro. This is crazy, man.
No, that's crazy. Yeah. And these are the horrors behind bar. You think man, people are so naive. You think that you're gonna go to jail, there are gonna be guards at every corner. They're gonna be restricting everything. You don't understand that when you get back there, it's a different story.
You got guards that are gang members, man. What are you gonna do with a guard that's a Crip, or a guard that's a Blood, or a guard that's a Latin King? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not no place to be at, man. It's
really not, man. We got I don't even want to share a count. I don't know who's gonna see it, but we got people from our school that went to the jail, and you had stuff like people coming to take your lunch tray, just testing you. One dude from our area, he wasn't no sucker. He wasn't gonna let nobody do that, so he hit the tray on dude's head. Another 6 months. So people are gonna keep testing you back there, man. They're gonna keep pushing your sentence more and more further. And it's tough, man. It's tough being back there. You don't understand that. So do you want to talk about, first of all, a lot of people in the call don't even surprisingly know what Rikers Island is. By the way, Ak, I want to tell you, I'm letting everybody who's trying to join in the call. And last time we let some people in that that just ruined our call. Like, it started blasting a lot of music and stuff. So if that happens, we might have to make another call. I'm gonna send you the updated link.
It's all good.
Yeah, so I'm just letting everybody in because I don't know. Some of these people is probably your people. Some of them is probably from over here. So do you want to talk about, first of all, how old were you when you went to Rikers, and what even is Rikers Island?
Rikers Island is what the biggest county jail. It's not a state prison. It's the biggest county jail. In each of these states and over here on this side they got county jails. Well, I think it's Rikers Island, and then it's Chicago. They have the two biggest county jails, man. It's like a city. Any other state and city, they just got one county, it'll be just one building, one big building. In New York, you got to go over this bridge, and once you go over this bridge, it's like an island it's like a little city with just a whole bunch of buildings, man. A whole bunch of buildings.
Okay. And so for the people listening that don't know, why is Rikers Island even relevant, whether it's in the streets, or why does the name ring bells? What's so popular about Rikers?
It's just, what's so popular about it is just one of the most dangerous prisons one of the most dangerous prisons in America. They just had a report that last week they beat 10 COs up, broke their jaws, stabbed them in the face. Yeah, this was last week.
And we try to make it, the communication as clear as possible. So COs basically are correctional officers, for those that don't know. And so brother's saying that even they be getting beat up in there, man.
Yeah, just last week, 10 of them got jumped by the gang members and stuff. A CO got stabbed in his face, amongst other things.
So when you was over there, we don't want to get into every story, but do you want to share maybe one or two big stories that you seen back there that kind of really changed? Like, you kind of thought, like, what am I doing here? Like, what really threw you off being back there in Rikers?
Sitting across, not Rikers. Rikers was when I went to prison, when I went up north, and I was in class with guys young as 18, 19 years old who had 50, 75 years, 100 years, 150 years. That was what changed me. That was what made me say, you know what, man, this could be my son later on, or my nephew or my little cousin. I just gotta stop, man. This is it. I can't come back no more. This is over, man. That was the turning point of my life, man. Sitting with kids, and they telling me their story, and tears coming out their eye. Like, I don't know if you ever seen one of my videos that I made about the brother Bilal, who I'm still in contact with. Like I said, when I met him, he was 18. He's 28 now, and he has to do 25 years, and once he does that 25 years, he has to do another 25 years. And this is the life stipulation, so it's a very big chance that he don't never go home, man. And the day I went home, he came up to my gate. He was 18, baby face, no hair on his face. He's crying. Reality set in. People been in and out of his life. He don't have a father. His mother's not there. He don't get letters. He don't have phone calls. He don't have not one person in his life. He's 18 years old, and he has to do over 50 years.
Yeah, and the sister in Japan. So we had a one comment by Sister Hunter. We're going to address that in the end. But Sister Jannah from Japan just said how her and her daughter watching a show about how long the sentences are in the States. It's kind of shocking to some people that's out of America, out of Canada. The sentences could be long, man. I think even in the States, I think it's way longer than even over here for us in Canada. But over there, there's people sitting in there for like 30, 40 years.
America's the worst. America's the worst. We have
people that's sitting over there. Correct me if I'm wrong. There's people sitting over there in facilities for decades over weed charges, over marijuana charges.
Over weed charges, man. 10 years, 20 years for weed.
The The brother, I don't know if everybody knows about the brother Rollo from Atlanta. He's from the hood. He called Pakistan, but you probably know Rollo, no? Rollo family.
Yeah, Rollo.
Yeah, so he I think he just went in for some weed chart. They found some weed on the plane, but the
Yeah,
brother was doing, like, from what I seen. I mean, may Allah bless the brother, man. He was doing, he was looking like he was doing some positive stuff. He was putting money in people's pocket, and I mean, marijuana. I mean, it's not. I'm not gonna glorify marijuana. Is still a sin in Islam. But I mean, to go behind bars for years on years and decades on decades for something that's legal in other states, and it don't make no sense to me.
and it's different strokes for different folks. You know what I'm saying? When I say
Mm.
that, different strokes for different folks.
Mm.
Not everybody get the same time, man.
Yeah, Sister Jana is shocked, like, over 10 years for marijuana. Yeah, Sister, and if you know, like, I don't know about Japan, but in Toronto, Canada, weed is like, it's water. Like, it's water over here. So it don't make sense how people be going to jail for that many years. Again, we're not saying that marijuana is halal. We have a whole event on why under fiqh, marijuana and alcohol are both haram. They're under khamr. So we're not glorifying that. But what we're trying to say is these sentences are just, they're crazy. Like, it's crazy to think about it. So I'm kind of rambling, but I want to go over. Sorry, Rafiq. I want to go over some stuff that people are saying. So a brother said, or a sister said, how was your relationship with Allah Subhanahu wa Taala impacted while you was in jail?
That's a good question. How was it impacted? I mean, it impacted me a lot. I mean, it was through His mercy that I made it home in one piece. It's a lot of people that got cut for no reason. It's a lot of people that didn't make it home, or if they did make it home, they have some kind of disability. A lot of us come home super anxiety, depression, like, if not physical disabilities. Allah Ta'ala, I can't say how much.
It's crazy.
He had a big impact on my life, man, and he helped me through my darkest moments. Solitary confinement, 8 months, 9 months of not seeing no other human, just your occasional CO walking by your gate. Your mind start playing tricks on you. You start talking to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
But the salat, man, and the dhikr.
SubhanAllah, man. It's you think about it, because I know, I don't know about everybody here. I know about 3 people that's committed suicide just being outside, not in no facility. I can't even imagine being back there is
Yes,
something else, man. So you said you was even in solitary confinement for, you said how many? 8 months?
8 months.
And so for all the people that know, what is even solitary confinement?
Solitary confinement is when you catch a disciplinary ticket or whatever, and they send you to solitary confinement. You can get from a week to 30 days. Some people get 20 years in solitary confinement, 30 years. I just read where somebody was in solitary confinement for 41 years.
Okay, the questions are pouring in. It's already, subhanAllah, man. It's already 7, so we're going to start going through them. So I think, Rafiq, your cuz was shouting you out. Gigi, she said, I'm here. I had no idea you went through all this. So glad you turned your life around. And then, so Sister Sarah, she raised a good point, how sentences are tied to systemic racism. I don't know. I can never pronounce that word, man. And then, so Sister Afia said, it's so stupid that you went to jail for so many years, but major criminals like murderers get sometimes 7, 8 years. It's true, man. It's like, it don't make no sense sometimes. It never sit right with me when I think about Charles Manson and some of these serial killers that were let off. But then you have people like Tookie Williams, who was the co-founder of the Crips, who was executed, given the death penalty, and for I think it was maybe 2, 3 murders. It's crazy how the system works, man, when you think about it. So Sister Faiza said, do you feel like you were stripped of your human rights in prison?
Absolutely.
Can you share
another sister asked another question? Damn, what she said? Sorry, man. Excuse me. She said,
it's all good.
What did she say?
I read it. I read it out.
You read it right? Yeah. She said,
1 sec. Oh, so Sister Sarah said these sentences are tied to systemic racism.
I think it was the sisters.
Or so another sister said that it's crazy that you went to jail for so many years, but major criminals like murders get 7 or 8 years. Is that
No, another question.
Do you feel like you were stripped of your human rights in prison? That's pretty much well, the one before that was how was your relationship?
Cousin, thank you for tuning in. I appreciate you.
Well, the one before that was how was your relationship with Allah impacted?
That's the one I'm talking about.
Okay.
Say that again.
So how was your relationship with Allah impacted while you was behind bars? Was it like, you were getting closer to the deen? Was you getting further away from it?
Yes, I was getting closer to the deen. Yes.
Okay, so that's I mean, that's a positive turnaround. But I mean, a lot of Muslims will go in there and it's not going to go that way for them. You know? They go through a lot of mental stuff and it's crazy. So I want to address the question by Sister Faiza. So when you said you were stripped of your human rights, could you possibly go into that, or do you don't want to go into that too much?
I mean, when I say that I'm stripped of my human rights, I feel like everybody who's incarcerated is stripped of their human rights. I mean, they stripped of their freedom, right? They're not free to do what they want. So that's why I say I feel like they stripped of their human rights.
Okay.
I don't feel like a man has that. You know what I'm saying? Only Allah has that power. You know what I'm saying? I don't feel like a man can just make that decision off, because a person made a mistake, whatever mistake that was, he just looks in the book and he just determines how much time he should get or whatever.
No, it's crazy. And you think about all the people, even here, I read about cases where somebody had their family member maybe raped, killed, whatever have you. The person goes away for a few years and comes out. It can work that way too. People get let go very easily. And then these same people understand the Sharia. They understand these strict laws that we have in Islam. That's there to prevent, or that's there to deal with murders. That's there to deal with, everything from adultery to all this stuff. So a lot of the system is, I don't know, man. Sometimes it'd be really harsh on people for no reason. Sometimes it'd be too lenient on people. So these laws we have, I mean, that's a different. I guess that's a discussion that we could have. That could be another branch of an event we do. So we have Brother Tawsis saying, was it hard to hold on to your deen while in prison? I think we kind of already answered that, but
that's the question I think I was looking for. I think that's the question I had seen, and not for me. It wasn't hard, brother. It wasn't hard.
So, but he was asking like, how did you manage praying Salah? So I'll ask you that one first. How did you manage Salah behind bars?
What do you mean by that? How do I manage?
Like, for people like that don't know, they have no clue. Like, how was it praying Salah? Was it something that was convenient? Like, how did you go about it? Was it hard to even pray Salah?
Yeah, it depends on where you at. It depends on what facility, because you might be in a facility where it's open dorms. You know what I'm saying? And then you got people running around and making noises and stuff like that. So you have to try to find a quiet space for you to offer salat. And then you got some facilities where you in a cell, which is, it's good. I like, me personally, I like being in the cell because I'm the only one that have access to that toilet or that sink. You know what I'm saying? And then I got the privacy to offer salat. I could stay up all night and pray if I want.
So how is it? I don't even know. How is it in the cells? You got a prayer mat, or you just pray like on the floor?
You got a prayer mat. I mean, until you get a prayer mat, you just like they give you a state issued green towel. Okay. Put the towel down, or we make a way out. The brothers make a way out.
I mean, we all like Muslims make a way anywhere. May Allah make it easy for us, man.
Right.
So the other part of the brother's question was fasting. So Ramadan is coming up now, but I mean, how is Ramadan back there in the facilities? How they be doing Ramadan?
Again, it depends on where you at. You have some jails where the administration, that's what the word I was looking for, administration. You have some jails where the administration, they got a lot of respect for the Muslim, and then it depends on the imam. They call them chaplains, Islamic chaplain, Christian chaplain, you know what I'm saying? But they outside, civilian. So it depends on what type of imam that we have. You know what I'm saying? Because they, I say it depends on the imam that you have, because he can push to have outside food. You know what I'm saying? He can push to have outside food from the streets, dates, fish,
Mm.
all the good stuff. Or if not, then we got to fast what the jail providers with.
Mm.
The
Yeah,
food
that was
that
the other thing. And when you mentioned that, I just thought about it. What, like, in terms of halal food, like, I guess everywhere you go, you probably don't get halal food back there, right?
not everywhere, but some places. New York, I like New York. Rikers Island, they got halal food. The upstate New York, they got halal. They
Mm.
got halal and they got non-halal.
Right. And the brother's surprised that there's imams back in jail. Some
Oh
brother
yeah,
told me.
absolutely. They got that. Every jail
Okay,
they have
that's big.
imams, outside imams. Matter of fact, it was the Imam Afifi
Mm.
from Egypt.
Okay.
Imam Afifi. He's an imam in Southport, Southport, Southport Correctional Facility. He has a brother. They look like twins. He's Afifi too. He works in Elmira Correctional Facility. They
Mm.
have, I believe, they have a masjid in Binghamton, New York.
Mm.
Very good,
So,
very
Ak,
good.
are these imams also like people that's incarcerated, or are they just
Nah, these
working there?
brothers from the street.
Oh, okay,
They
okay,
from the street.
okay. I thought maybe they were in like there was just an inmate that was an
Oh
imam.
nah. But we have imams too that we appoint ourselves.
Mm. Okay, okay, that's
Yeah,
interesting.
we have some very. You got brothers that wrote books. Like you got some sheikhs. You got some knowledgeable brothers, man, that I ran
Right,
across.
right, right. So the brother said, do you think your story relates to Malcolm X in any way, especially when it comes to the dean behind bars? You could answer that. I feel like what you like. You
I
said you
like
had to
that.
accept the.
Yeah, I like that. That's the first time somebody said that. Yeah, I think so.
They giving you that high
I
caliber right
think
now,
so.
Ak.
Alhamdulillah.
Ak, I want to go back real quick to Sister Anthera's comment. I said I would address it later. So she said, "How did your family dynamics change from the moment you decided to make a change? I guess like the
That was
positive change."
that was
Yeah.
one of the questions that I've seen, and
Right.
I mean, I got keys. I got keys to mostly every family member in my. You know what I'm saying? I got keys to all their houses. As opposed to before, they didn't want to see me coming. You know what I'm saying? I mean, Alhamdulillah, my mother's happy, man. For years she would go to, every night, go to bed, crying like a mother does when her son is out there in the streets ripping and running. Today she goes to sleep, with a smile on her face. You know what I'm saying? All her kids are good. You know what I mean? I was the last one. Like my brother Ben got his life together. He's Muslim. My sister just took her shahada like 4 months ago.
Alhamdulillah.
I mean, everything is where I'm pleased, man. I'm just thankful and I'm grateful, man, for where I'm at in my life today. I got a beautiful 3-year-old daughter. I got 2 stepdaughters who I'm raising like my own. I love them like they're mine. I'm just happy.
Alhamdulillah, man. It's inspiring. It's inspiring to hear that. I think also part of the question was like when you accepted Islam, how was your family? Because I know you said your background was Puerto Rican. Were they accepting?
Oh,
Or was
right, yeah. Because my uncle, he Muslim,
mm,
Puerto Rican, you know what I'm saying? And I got cousins that are, I mean, like half of my people was Christian and half were Muslim, but it wasn't never no, as long as you was doing what you was supposed to be doing, and they, that's how my family gave it
that's
up.
great to hear, man. Shout out to Puerto Rican community out in Jersey. Y'all brothers and sisters. So okay, so bro, it's 7:10 now. We're cutting kind of close to Maghrib. So I know one thing on the poster was that we mentioned that you were gonna shed light on when you got shot. So if you want to shed light on that story, when did that happen? How old were you, and how did that transpire?
I say, I, I got shot in 2012, in Camden, New Jersey. Wrong place, wrong time. Um, I don't look at it as wrong place, wrong time, mistaken identity. I don't look at it as that. I look at it as something coming back to happen to me for all the things that I've done in my life, and I've accepted it as that. And this is how I've been able to, to keep it pushed, keep it moving. Like, you know what I mean?
Right. You know, over here, the way the culture is unfortunately going is a lot of youth have either been shot, they're carrying guns. You know, the promoting of getting shot has increased, I think, in music. But I mean, I guess that might have always been there. For a message to the youth from yourself, can you talk about how it felt getting shot? Because even though you got hit in the leg, it wasn't like, I mean, it hit a nerve. And can you talk about how that felt? Like, how many bullets did you catch? How did it feel, etc.?
All right. Besides the few that I heard whizzing by my ear, because I felt like they was trying to hit me with a headshot. Because that's how many whizzes I heard go by my ear. But the one that connected was the one that hit me in my femoral artery in my left leg. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the femoral artery, but it's a major artery. And if you don't get to the hospital in time, you can bleed out. A lot of people bleed out when they get hit in that artery. When I first got hit, because of the adrenaline, 9 times out of 10, you don't feel it right away. You'll feel it as time go on because it's a burning, painful, it's like, you know them things, the fireplace, the sticks that they use to do the wood with the
Right.
fireplace. It's
Yeah.
like they burned it like that and they just pushed it through my leg. That's how it felt. And then I just felt the heat. Until I ran. I made it to this porch. It was people on the porch and they was afraid. And I don't fault them. I'm not mad at them or nothing. They slammed the door and I climbed over next door and there was a lady that came out, and I believe, you know what I mean? Of course, with the law at the island, with the law's mercy, she helped me, man, because I was trying to I was bleeding out. And the more you bleed out, you get weak. You start, I don't know, I felt like I was in the bazaar. I felt like I was in that.
That's crazy.
Yeah, but the whole time, I'm saying La ilaha illallah over and over and over because my uncle, he always said if you dying, you think you dying or whatever, just to say La ilaha, over and over again, because my uncle told me a story about when he got shot years ago, and he was saying how he said La ilaha illallah, and that just stayed in my mind. So the whole time, like I said, I was just saying La ilaha illallah, La ilaha illallah, and they came. I felt them rip the clothes off me, and I felt like I was just going to another life. When they put the mask, only thing I remember is them putting the mask on my face. When I woke up, I was handcuffed to the bed, twisted.
And I guess part of your story was that you actually got incarcerated right after you got shot. So that in itself was a struggle, taking showers in the bin and so on. Yeah, it's crazy, man. Even with guns, that's a whole other issue when it comes to guns, firearms. Sisters from Japan said it's illegal out there unless you have a license. Same thing with here in Canada, but you know how the streets are. I mean, everybody, people carrying, man. Like not everybody gonna care about the license and all that. So it's crazy, man. I think a lot of the youth not getting shot seriously comes from all these rappers that have been shot over 5 times. They see Pac got shot so many times the first time. Wow, it was okay after. So it's like they don't.
It's corny, is what it is, man.
Yeah, they don't think about the fact that you could catch 12 bullets, but if they go into other places, you good. But if some people got shot once and it hit the wrong nerve, there's so many nerves in our body, bro. It's not I don't know what's wrong with these youth, man. They don't be taking.
I'll tell you something. You ask anybody that got shot if it's cool, and I guarantee you they'll tell you if they're in their right mind, they'll tell you that it's not. The only ones that say it's cool is the ones that didn't get shot.
Now, I only really know one youth that got shot in recent times. That was the reason why I kind of created MWire in the first place. This was about 2 years ago in the summertime, and unfortunately, I can't ask the brother because he died from his gunshot, which was, I guess, in the head, even though they claimed they was trying to hit him in the leg. brother hadn't even turned 18. You know, the janaza was on the 1st of Ramadan. I was fasting. We had to drive down to Scarborough. So you know, that was big, because you know, this is a youth that I would hear about all the time. I was trying to go maybe holler at him for a bit, maybe talk to him, but the opportunity was taken away because, you know, I mean, like you said, it's never really a wrong place, wrong time, but it's just like, you know, it's what we involve ourselves in, man. It's what we involve ourselves in growing up. My slate's not clean either. You know, sometimes we made a lot of bad decisions in the past that could still haunt us today. So we gotta, you know, we have to be careful. To wrap it up, bro. You know, it's already almost 7:20. What are some things that I know you probably had a list of things you want to discuss here, but is there anything you want to like give us, like any takeaways that the youth can walk away from this talk?
That's a good one.
I know I kind of just threw that at you, so I know it's kind of tough. But let's say if there's any like big important message, like what would you want to say to the youth, whether it comes to avoiding incarceration or avoiding drugs?
Leave social media alone, I guess. Social media is not real, it's fake. Listen to your parents. Obey your mother.
The brother,
obey your mother. Honor your mother.
So brother said maybe a similar question. What would you want to say to your younger self before you even got caught up?
Man, that's dope. What I want to say to my younger self, man. Don't be a follower, man. Be a leader. That's what I would tell my younger self. Don't be a follower. Be a leader.
100%. 100%. That's solid advice. It's simple, straightforward.
That's all.
And it really is. Just be a leader. We all leaders. That's what we're trying to push in Muslim Youth Revival. We all leaders over here. We don't gotta follow the next community and promote, you know, whether it's drugs, whether it's, you know, whatever else have you, alcohol, etc. You know, inshallah, we're gonna be young leaders. And I see it already, man. You'd be surprised, man. These young people that's involved with the organization. Some of them is 10 years younger than me, and I thought I was a youth, but you know, you got people that's 10 years younger than me, 8 years younger than me. That's part of our organization, and they're pushing. And I'm happy seeing these people, man, because I know when I was younger, at that age, I probably wasn't involved with none of that stuff. But these people they different, you know. So we got a comment from Sister Sarah from our organization. She said, "Thank you so much for your time and sharing these stories with us. You are making a difference." And you are, man. You're making a difference for sure. My brother said if anyone's down, we could stay in the call and continue the discussion after the talk and discuss how Rafiq's story impacted us. Yeah, bro. Or even if you want to, you could even do that right now. If you want to unmute your mic and say something to the brother, you could do that right now.
I'll just say something. I just want to thank you guys, the Muslim Youth Revival, for having me. I'm honored, you know, and if there's anything I can do, please feel free to reach out.
No, that's love, bro. You always, you know, since day one, since we connected, you've been showing love, and I appreciate that. You know, if you ever end up out here in Toronto, we're gonna look out.
You already know.
If we ever come out in Jersey, we're gonna holler at you when we come to Jersey, though. If any of us come to Jersey, we're gonna check in with Rafiq, man. We're gonna check in.
That's a fact.
But you know, so the brother's right. What we'll do is I'll end off with the dua, and then we'll cut off the recording. And a lot of people don't want their voices to be recorded and put on YouTube. So Rafiq, if you could stay for maybe 5 more minutes after the recording.
Absolutely.
And you know, so yeah, I don't know if you can see the comments. Okay, you seen them? Okay.
Yeah, I see all of them. Yeah, thank you. Appreciate
so, you know, may Allah bless everybody in the gathering. You know, Rabbana atina fid dunya hasanatan wa fil akhirati hasanatan wa qina azaban nar. May we be able to apply these stories, you know, whatever advice the brother gave, may we be able to apply it in our lives. And you know, maybe we be able to make a difference, even though some of these stories might be like something we're not involved in. Maybe we be able to inspire youth around us to push for a more positive lifestyle. And with that being said, I appreciate everybody that tunes into our recordings posted on YouTube. Make sure to subscribe to our channel, and also stay connected with us on Instagram. So Mohsen, you can basically end off the recording over there, and then for whoever wants to stay and just maybe talk about, you know, their